Before sunup.
Our first guest today is Mr. T.C. Ricks. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was born around the year 1840. Nobody knows for sure. I had no rights. I had no right to go anywhere away from home or to do anything. Just to do chores. All I had was my given name and some clothes that were made by my mother. My father was very smart. He taught me a lot. That's how I learned most of what I knew that helped me survive and put 6 of my 8 children and grandchildren through college. They needed education. My wife Nancy was very smart also. We had no schooling at all. I was proud to buy land from the government. Nancy and I built a cabin, even though my fishing spot is now underwater. We worked all the times and our kids went to school with the white folks' kids to learn. We did everything ourselves. There was no segregation in Iowa Falls, but there was social separation. We knew we were different. There was no other black folks here at first. Just us. The Friends Church was nice. They helped us get here. The Baptist Church was nice too. My family was Baptist and we went to church there. Life was hard, but Nancy and I were smart. We rose before sunup. I scrubbed floors, shoveled snow, everything. Nancy did maid work and laundry. Ira Nichols hired me to turn the print press at the paper. I made about 10 cents per hour for my work. My work was hard but I liked it because the money was mine. Our children liked school. Miss O'Neill and Miss Stoddard said they were very smart. They said they should go to college. The children liked Miss O'Neill and Miss Stoddard. They were very nice. My son went to college in Minnesota and became a lawyer. My son Ernest went to college in Iowa City and was a dentist in Chicago. 2 of our girls went to Fisk University and became teachers.
Tell us about the war years before you came to Iowa Falls.
My master was killed fighting for the Confederacy. My father and brother and I escaped through the lines and fought for our freedom with the Union Army. My father and brother were killed. Only I survived. Nancy and I are buried in Union Cemetery in Iowa Falls. There is only one stone at our grave, but nobody can tell what color our skin was. The stones are all the same color.
Our second guest today is Ozzie McCullers.
I was born in Chicago. My folks came to Iowa Falls for a better life. There were almost no black folks around my neighborhood of 5,000 people. I was treated well. I had many friends. There was no segregation of public facilities. I had a good education and enjoyed the community. In those days, sadly, there was social segregation. We all just knew that we were different and we learned what we were not supposed to do.
You were a great athlete. Tell us about sports and your sports career.
I loved sports. Sports were my release. I was really free when I competed. I was good and people knew it. They liked to win. I played football, basketball, tennis, baseball, just about anything. And I loved fishing in the great outdoors. I played end and halfback. Howard Flower was my coach. We were undefeated my senior year. Mr. Flower told me I should go to college at Ellsworth here in Iowa Falls. I wanted to go to Ellsworth like Joe Gomer, who was 4 years older than me, but World War II came up, so college had to wait until the war was over. I was in the Navy in World War II. My father died in 1943, and I made sure my mother was well taken care of for the rest of her life.
You went to Ellsworth?
Yes, I went to Ellsworth College after I got out of the Navy. I was a starter on the basketball team and played tennis. Sports taught me a lot about competition. I realized by then that I had a good life in Iowa Falls. I had never really been away from home much until I was in the Navy. That's when I really learned about discrimination and the ugly side of life, especially when I was coming home. I didn't get much respect, but I took it in stride. My Methodist faith helped me get through it. I next attended Iowa State Teachers College, but it was difficult for me to get professional employment around my community where I wanted to work with young people. I was like a big kid at heart. Eventually I was employed at the State Training School for Boys in Eldora, and I found that very rewarding.
Ozzie, tell us about the Boy Scouts.
Scouting had it all for me. It was a chance to use my education to work with young people and to combine my love of sports, faith, and the outdoors. I lived to serve.
Our final guest today is Joe Gomer. Good morning, Mr. Gomer.
I was born and raised in Iowa Falls, Iowa, on River Street. I attended the Iowa Falls schools from kindergarten all the way through Ellsworth College. I was a graduate of both Iowa Falls High School and Ellsworth College. I was a fighter pilot in World War II. Although my wife and I have lived all over the world while I was in the service, Iowa Falls, Iowa and Duluth, Minnesota are the only places we have ever really considered home. My younger brother Chuck liked radios and cameras, but I always liked model airplanes. I had never been in an airplane, but I knew I wanted to fly someday. It was only the second time I had even been in an airplane when we were up in the sky flying one during the Ellsworth College Flight School. In fact, I had never even driven a car before and I didn't know how. My father had just died and I was lucky to even be going to college at all. My mother didn't pass away until much later on in life. I consider myself very fortunate. Even though I didn't get the respect I deserved for being a fighter pilot during the war, I lived long enough to see my service recognized and to receive many honors in life. I have an interview that has been preserved on the Voices of Iowa Falls channel on YouTube, and another interview on the Grout Museum District website. I only wish every one of the Tuskegee Airmen had lived long enough to be recognized. The memorial to me on the Ellsworth College campus is a very nice gesture, and I am very humbled. I see myself more as just a model for the statue. In a way, it is more a memorial to all African American veterans, and to all people who have struggled to rise up. I'm glad I grew up in Iowa Falls, Iowa in the United States of America.
Rise before sunup.